The Oakland Coliseum. It's old, it gets the occasional visit from Uncle Sewage, and sometimes the lights just can't take it anymore and shut themselves off. However, there are three reasons to look past that: the Oakland A's, the stupidly affordable cost of A's games, and the lessons in facial hair growth. The A's began playing in the Coliseum in 1968. My parents went there in the early years, and they tell me it actually looked new back then. I'll take their word for it. The stadium has seen the A's win 4 World Series titles, 3 from 1972 to 1974, and 1 in 1989. It's also seen lots of Hall of Fame players and lots of postseason crying in the ALDS. Well, maybe that last one was just me. The A's are currently the 2-time defending AL West champs. They've got loads of talent, and you can go to one of their games without having to sell several of your large appliances to afford tickets first. Prices vary, but they typically range from well under $20 for the bleachers to $50 to $60 in the lower infield seats. I've sat just about everywhere except the third deck. I'd be afraid of late inning seagull attacks there. The center field bleachers are not that terrible. You can't see the entire outfield, and with my white skin, I nearly burst into flames out there if it's a day game. Make sure you bathe in sunscreen if you're sitting there for any day baseball. Other than that, they're quite nice. It's especially fun to yell about ball and strike calls when you're so far away that you can't even be sure they threw a baseball. It might not even be a baseball game. It could all be a very elaborate prank. My favorite place to sit is actually in the second deck. The tickets are about $30 usually, and the view is still great. You're at a baseball game, but it's not fancy pants tickets, so you don't feel baseball smug. You can also see the whole field without worrying about a tall person being in your way like happens in a field level seat. It's something we bite-sized baseball fans have to consider. Stupid regular-sized people. If I were cool like my grandma was and got season tickets, if I lived there and didn't have a 10.5-hour commute every time I wanted to go to a game, and if I made more than 3 pennies an hour, I'd probably get season tickets somewhere in the second deck. If you're only going to a couple of games a year, you might as well go all out and get some field level seats though, right? That's what I do a lot when I feel like being in fancy pants or getting a closer look at manager Bob Melvin's sexy self.
There's not really a bad seat in the ballpark. Pretty much anywhere you sit, you're going to have a really broad view of all of the action on the field and all the baseball shenanigans. You'll also have a really good view of Derek Norris's manly, amazing beard. But you probably shouldn't look at it too long because you'll start feeling a little inadequate as a man if you keep it up.
Anyway, with the prices covered, what can you expect to see, apart from the best baseball team of all time? Okay, maybe the second best team behind the Sandlot kids. You can expect to see a dominating starting pitching staff with guys like Sonny Gray here. You'll also see an outstanding bullpen, which includes Sean Doolittle, a closer who will strike you out while making you feel self-conscious about your peach fuzz as he strokes his beard. You'll also see the world's most giant baseball player, Nate Fryman, who dwarfs middle infielders. Josh Donaldson, a guy who handles that hot corner like it's just a room temperature corner. Coco Crisp, the best center fielder with a serial name ever. Derek Norris, the guy who plays catcher and whose picture comes up in the dictionary when you look up manly and rugged. There are celebrations of second baseman Eric Sogard's nerd power. There's Brandon Moss, a first baseman / outfielder / designated hitter who does everything, including embarrassing pitchers when he disposes their offerings into the bleachers. There's Yoenis Cespedes, the coolest Cuban since Andy Garcia. Jed Lowry, a shortstop who can turn that double play like he turns heads. Josh Reddick, an outfielder whose pie to teammates' face average is 1,000. And an assortment of utility guys who are super cool without serial names and without facial hair that would beat Al Borland in a beard off. You'll also get the Bernie lean, play hide and seek with hats and baseballs. Watch clearly made to scale models of old A's racing. And cheer on that sexy Bob Melvin and any of his outbursts toward umpires. Finally, you'll also see some walk-offs pretty frequently with these goofballs, like this last game that I went to. Haha, silly Blue Jays. So basically, if you like awesome baseball, beard bombardment, high violence after walk-off victories, and going to baseball games without having to sell your kids bikes first, the Coliseum and the Oakland A's have got what you want. Just steer clear of the bathrooms.
Significantly in the lead. Here comes the